there is a share from what parents and relatives leave behind, and for women there is a share as well. Whether the legacy left behind is less or more, little or more, the share has been fixed and allotted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This ayat is the first ayat to be revealed regarding mirath. The incident happened that this lady's husband was martyred in the battle of Uhud, and he was rich. He had left a lot of legacy behind, a huge bagh land with lots of palm trees in there, and also he had left some money. But according to the pre-Islamic behavior, marhum's brothers took control of everything, and they gave nothing to the widow and nothing to his two daughters. So she came to the Prophet ﷺ and pleaded. After doing sabr for a few days, she said, Ya Rasulullah, my husband was martyred and he left behind a lot of things, but it's all been taken over by his brothers and nothing for me and my daughters. My daughters are getting old. I need to marry them. They've reached the age of marriage. So I need money. Without money, I can't marry them. So there should be some share for me in the legacy. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam remained silent, as he would often do, waiting for some instruction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed these verses in Surah An-Nisa, in which Allah said, of course, men have share, women also have share, and all shares are fixed and allotted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, you have to distribute those shares properly, equally. Allah then went on to mention the ruku of yusikumullahu fi awladikum, regarding which an American who studied it said that this is such a beautiful that you could write volumes, but you can't cover all the estate distribution. But this one passage has so beautifully and concisely contained everything that it is just marvelous, amazing. Nobody except Allah can do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explained that you have to give share to everyone. Now, before you give share to the heirs, warithin, there are certain things to go through, procedures. When a person dies, the first expense of his should be taken out from his legacy is for his funeral. These days, funeral costs are high. Even in Bolton, they go up to £2,500 to £3,000. And if you're in London, they'll go over £10,000-15,000. London ki life be expensive or death be expensive. So, if a person just has £2,500 and that's all he has and it covers his funeral costs, then you take all out from there. If there is some money left after the funeral costs, then the second procedure is to pay off his debts. If he borrowed some money from someone, if he bought and purchased some goods, items from somewhere and has yet to pay for them, or if he had caused some injury to someone and there was some liability, and some other things which he had incurred and which lay on his head, is all included in dayn, qarz, debt. So his debt will be paid off first, and it will be paid off from the whole legacy. Then if his debt is paid off and there is still money left, then the third procedure is to carry out any wasiyat, will. If he had made any wasiyat that gives so and so much to Rahimi Academy, or so and so much to Darul Uloom Bari, or so and so much to so and so Jamia Hussainiya Randir, then you have to give that amount to that institution, that charity, and that person, if an individual is mentioned, give so and so much to my local Imam Sahib, or so and so much to my Ustad, my Sheikh, then that needs to be given out. And it will be given out from 1/3. So let's say if he had left 100,000 behind, then it will be given out from 33,000. If he had made wasiyat of 10,000, 15,000, 20, 30, okay. But if he had made wasiyat of all 100,000, you can't give all 100,000. You have to keep 2/3 for the warisin. Only 1/3 will be given in his wasiyat. When that is carried out, then the miras will be distributed. And how is it distributed? Normally, there's not too many complications. If parents are alive, they are given 1/6 each. وَلِأَبَوَيْهِ لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا السُّدُسُ مِمَّا تَرَكَ إِنْ كَانَ لَهُ وَلَدٌ. If parents have died, he has children, and he has wife, or she dies and has husband, then for the spouses, Allah said, if the wife dies, husband is alive, and they have children, the husband gets 50%. And the 50% remaining will be distributed among the children. And sorry, mistake. He gets 50% if there's no children. And if there are children, then he gets 25%. Rubu. And in the case of the husband dying and there are children, the wife will get 1/8. And if there are no children, she will get 1/4. And as for the children, the estate will be divided among them according to لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. Male will get double the share of females, 2 females to 1 male. So this is very simple layman's explanation of the legacy, how it's to be distributed. Grandchildren do not get anything in the event of children, even if their father had died, but they have other children. The deceased has other children, one of the children, 2 of the children died, and they have grandchildren. The grandchildren will not get anything because there are other children left, and the legacy will go to them. If there are no sons and daughters and there are grandchildren, then the grandchildren will get from them. So let's say, for example, a person died, you paid off his funeral costs, you paid off the debts which he owed, you carried out wasiyat. Normally people don't make wasiyat these days. Normally wasiyat, let me talk a little bit about that as well. Wasiyat is will. Now if you write a will nama, is better for you. One hadith says, if a person has wealth, then he should not let 2 nights pass by upon him in which his will nama and wasiyat nama is not written down with him. He should go to a solicitor, Lex solicitors, Ayub Bhai Patel, Maulana Akhtar Saab. They have will nama ready. Mufti Shabir Saab prepared it in Darul Umbari, and they have everything in there about wasiyat. So prepare that and write your wasiyat in there, whatever instruction you want to give. If you have any qaza namaz and you say, I've not been able to make up for it, give my fidya or qaza roza or some kafara which you needed to give, you write in there that this is what should be paid off. I wanted to keep my rozas, qaza, namaz, but I couldn't, but this much, please give this much fidya. That will be classed as will, and it will be carried out from the 1/3. So write the wasiyat nama. If you write it, it will protect your wealth as well. Sometimes a person is wealthy and he leaves behind a lot of money, £1,000,000. So over here in this country, they have the inheritance tax law. An inheritance tax is 40% of the estate. And there is a threshold for it. Maulana Sahab, kitna hai threshold aajkal? Before it was 375,000, they've increased it to something over 600,000, I think. Eh? It's gone to 1,000,000 now. Chalo, inflation, 1,000,000. So if anything over 1,000,000, they will take away 40%. 2,000,000 you leave behind, how much will they take? 800,000. Your heirs will only get 1.2 million. So 40% will belong to the government. But if you write a will and you write clear instructions in there, the government will not be able to get hold of your estate. You can protect it. You can say that this share must be given to such and such person. And in this manner, it becomes theirs. Or another way out is if you make a trust and make 2-3 trustees, appoint them as trustees and tell them that after I die, this is my trust and you should act in this manner and you should distribute my legacy among my heirs in this manner, then the government will not be able to touch that trust. And those trustees will distribute that according to your instruction. So you must, if you have a lot of money, you must write a will. And you make a trust, that will be easier for you. And they will then carry out the instructions accordingly. So in that wasiyat nama, you will write. You know, one of my friends told me, Maulana Ahmad Sidat Sahib in Blackburn, that in the 60s, when there were very few Muslims over here, you know, his father used to wear the Muslim attire, beard, long jubba, topi. He was once walking somewhere in London and this Goria stopped his car and approached him. He said, "Why, ek minute, my friend, who are you? What's your name?" He said, "Why? My name is so and so. I am Muslim. I know you're a Muslim." And the Goria said, "I am a Muslim as well." And he said, "Can I have your name and address?" He said, "Why?" He said, "I want to write a will and I want to write in there that my estate should be distributed according to the Islamic law. And I want to appoint you as my trustee and you will carry that out." So his father said, "All right." He gave him name, address. When that person died, they approached him and his father said, "This is how the legacy should be distributed among the heirs of the deceased." So in this law, you can say that my wealth should be distributed according to the Islamic law and how Islamic law says it. If you even put that, that should be sufficient, and in that manner it will be divided among your children. So your wasiyat nama is there, is ready with you at home or with a solicitor whom you've appointed. Also, another thing we note over here is in England, what I have seen is normally people buy houses and husband, wife both contribute towards it. Sometimes the husband, wife both work and pay off the debt. Sometimes the husband works, the wife gets benefits. She runs the house, pays the bills and food costs, everything. And the husband pays off that debt. But the understanding between them is that this house belongs to both of us. In this case, you should both have your names on the house. Because when one dies, the house automatically goes to the other. Otherwise, you'll have to go to the solicitor, you'll have to prove that that is your next of kin and spouse, partner, and you'll have to spend a lot of money. When my father-in-law died, the house was on his name. So we had to go to the solicitor and spend about £500-600. That's a long time ago, maybe 25 years ago, to bring the transfer that onto my mother-in-law's name. So you, in order to avoid that costs and everything, it's better if you both have your names on the house. So if one dies, goes to the other automatically. And in this case, normally what happens is, because of the understanding and agreement, 50% of the house belongs to the other partner. So let's say if the husband dies, then 50% of the house is the wife's, and the legacy will be distributed from the remaining 50%. And from that 50%, the wife will get 1/8 already. And then the 7 parts will be distributed among the children. So let's say a person dies and he has no parents, he has only his wife, his 2 sons, and his 1 daughter. How will the estate be distributed? In our case scenario, which we've taken general common life of our UK, let's say 50% of the house is the wife's and 50% is of the children. If the children make an agreement that we will let our mother live in there for as long as she is alive, and after she passes away, we will distribute it among us, then that is up to them. Now, if the mother lives long and one of the siblings dies, there will be a mas'ala, because he had his share from his marhum father, which was not given to him. So will that share go to his children? Because the grandchildren are alive. The son died, but that mas'ala comes up, it becomes a bit tricky. So what would be ideal is, when the father died, they let the mother live, stay in the house, but from the estate, they calculate everything and give everyone their share. So at a later date, when calculations are made, there is no disagreement. The percentage was always carried out. So if one of the sons dies in the middle, then his percentage was already there. That percentage will then go on to his children, but only from the father's legacy, not from the mother's. Because when the mother dies, that son has already died. It's only his grandchildren left. So grandchildren will not get anything from the mother's share, but they will get from the father's share, because their father was alive when the grandfather died. So in this case scenario, let's say you want to distribute it. And remember, distributing miras is very important. Not distributing miras has been classed as one of the signs of Qiyamah. لا تقوم الساعة حتى لا يفرح بغنيمة ولا يقسم ميراث. Qiyamah will not come until miras will not be distributed. People will forget miras. In one hadith, Nabi Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the first knowledge to be taken away from my ummah will be the knowledge of miras. People will not want to know about miras. And this is what's happening today. Some people even go on to the extent, say, I don't know Islamic law, I'm going according to the law of the land, and I want my share, this 50%, 100%, I'm going to take over the whole house, it's mine, I'm not going to give anyone. You know, these types of words, they could lead a person to kufr. He or she could become kafir if she rejects the Islamic law and says, I don't believe in Islamic law, I'm not going according to that, I'm going to go according to law of land, just because of greed and money. So miras should be distributed properly, equally. In this case scenario, the husband died and they are now distributing the miras. One wife, 2 sons, and 1 daughter. मौलाना साहब, आप इसके ऊपर तकसीम करो, समझाओ इनको कैसे तकसीम होगा. Can you do it on the projector? ऐसा करो, एक बोर्ड ले आओ, बोर्ड पे समझाओ. Where is my board? Maulana Sahab teaches miras. He's more well versed with miras than me. He'll explain to you better. Go on, my friend. Get pen. Stage by pen launch jara. Board par lakhwa. Okay, you have a writing board. हाँ लिया है. Step children get their miras or not? मौलाना जुनेद को ही पूछते हैं कि बोला तुम लोगों को step children get miras or not? हैं? Do step children get miras or not? मौलाना साहब कैमरा भी दिखाना पड़ेगा. Can you shift the camera there? मौलाना साहब हाँ और एक कुर्सी मौलाना साहब को बैठने के लिए भी दो नहीं. You see, stepchildren's mas'ala, stepchildren is a very vague word. What type of stepchildren? Right? One is a person gets married for a second time, right? And his wife brought children with her. They are stepchildren. When he dies, they don't get anything, right? Because there's no blood relation between the two. Second case is when stepchildren, और क्या शकल होगी मतलब stepchildren की? हाँ, half brothers, half sisters. तो मसला थोड़ा मेरा complicated. आप समझा नहीं ना stepchildren का. Different case scenarios, you'll have to ask. Give the mas'ala to Maulana Sahab. He will give you what type of stepchildren and what you want to know. Maulana Sahab, अब इसमें लिखो मय्यत. Okay, that's the deceased. Let's say Muhammad. Okay, for example. Right. Now he is left behind wife, Zawja. Okay, and Ibn and Bint. Okay, and let's say how much has he left behind? Maulana Sahab, 100,000. He's left behind 100,000. Right? Right. Let's say 20,000 were spent in his funeral costs, in his debts, in his wasiyat. Okay, so he's left with a legacy of 80,000 to distribute. Barabar? Okay, okay, so from 100,000, what is to be distributed? 80,000, right? ये हो गया. Okay, that 20,000 covers all the funeral costs. Debt. First is funeral cost, second is debt, third is wasiyat. Okay, so that's all done. 20,000 gone, and you have to include everything: house, cash, shares, gold, anything that is owed by other people, right? Other people owe him money. You calculate all that. You, after calculation of all that, whatever was left was 100,000, and from that 100,000, what he owed to other people, everything was given out. 20,000 gone. He's got 80,000 left. From 80,000, now Maulana Sahib will distribute here. Okay, Zawja, the wife, will get sumun, which means 1/8. What is the 1/8 of 80,000? 10,000. Maulana Sahib, लिख दिए 10,000. बाद में लिख देंगे. Okay, and then how much is left after giving 10,000 to the mother? 70,000. 70,000 will be distributed between the three. Okay, right? Now, للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. Two shares for the boy and one for the two for the boy and one for the girl, right? Now, so 2 and 1. How many shares we have to make from there for the children? 5. You get it? 5 shares. 2 for one son, 2 for the other son, and 1 share for the daughter. Do you get it? Understand? Now we'll have to divide 70,000 into 5 shares. Can somebody get a calculator out? Huh? 14,000 is 1/5. MashaAllah. Muiz is a mathematician. Okay. So 14,000 is 1/5 of 70,000. Right? So the daughter will get 14,000 and both sons will get 28,000 each. Is that clear? Mona Sahib, is that बराबर? मैं भूल तो नहीं हो रही है, राइट है ना? तो अब यहाँ पर लिख दें मौलाना साहब 10,000. 10K कर दो नहीं? Or easy is okay. And the son will get 28K each son.
70K first.
70K. Okay. 28, 28, and 14. Right? Is that clear? So it's so easy to distribute, alhamdulillah. This is the normal family, right? And if there are any complications, you come to Maulana Junaid Sahab, he teaches Miras here, he'll work it out for you. All right? And few points to note over here. Maulana Sahab, mujhe yaad dilana. Number 1 point, we talked about the 50% house, right? Let's say the house was worth 80,000, right? Now, from there, 50% is of the wife, the mother of these three. So only 50% will be distributed, right? So from that 50%, which is of the husband, right? 1/8 will already go to the wife and the rest will be distributed. So what does it mean? That 80,000 will be halved to 40 and 40 will be distributed. And how much is 1/8 of 40? Half of all this. So the mother will get 10 and the boys will get 14 and the girl will get 7. Do you get it? In our family life, which we normally have, where there is long-term relationship, all life together, 20, 30, 40 years together. It's not like you got married and after 6 months, the person died and you get 50%. No, because you never worked for it. The wife never worked for it. This is where they both work for it. They both pay for the house. They both have the understanding and they both put their names on the house and they share the house. Then we will give 50% to the wife because of their understanding. But if there is no understanding of that type, and it was, everything, property, estate, everything belonged to the husband only, and he died, then it will be divided like this equally, 1/8 to the wife and the rest to them. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, sometimes people ask this question, that why does the daughter get only 1 share and the son gets double shares? Is this not discrimination? You ask this question, right? So what is the answer to that? Who's going to tell me? Come on, you guys studying Miras. Huh? MashaAllah. Maulana good. Uwais said, because normally boys are the men of the house. They control the finances. They look after everything. They do the khidmat of the parents. And they look after them in their old age. And this is a normal Muslim life. That's a normal Muslim home. That's how a Muslim home should be. We should stay with our parents. We should look after our parents. We should take care of them in their old age. We should pay their bills. We should pay for their food, their drinks, their expenses. That's how it works everywhere in the Muslim world. Now look, we are only thinking about this limited British Isle. We're not thinking out beyond that. We think about the whole world. Islam is for the whole world. Islam was for the last 1400 years and it will be until the day of Qiyamah. So we have to be broad minded. And this explains to us that in normal, you go anywhere in the Arab world, in the Africa, Somalia, Sudan, our India, Pakistan, all families, extended families live together. And it's the sons who look after the father, mother in their old age. As for the daughters, like Maulana Sahab says, they get married. They go into someone else's house and they live with them, and they will get inheritance from their children, their husbands, when they pass away. So, in actual effect, they don't need this extra money. But still, Islam gives them that extra money. That no, though she's daughter, she's living elsewhere, she's married, she's got her own 3-4 kids, but still she will get a share from here. Now, this is why Shariat said, because the sons looked after the parents throughout their old age, they should be given double and the daughter should be given single. That is perfectly an understandable reason for it. It's genuine reason. Now, if someone says, well, in my house, the sons deserted the father, and it was our sister who looked after our father in old age, and she did everything for them, therefore she should get the double. Well, if the brothers agree and they say that, okay, we want to give our sister double the share, they can give up their share. They can't say, भाई बहन ने बहुत खिदमत की थी अब्बा की, चलो हम उसको ज्यादा दे देते हैं. This is a guideline. But if they wanted to give more, and one son said that I'm giving my share to my sister, the other said, no, I want mine. Okay, you get yours, but I'm giving mine because she did lots of khidmat. So if he gives it to her, he can give up his share. So if that, in fact, in some cases, if the grandchildren do more khidmat, like for example, they are carers and they care for the grandparents, but in miras they won't be getting anything because the children are there. So if the children, the sons and daughters say that the granddaughter deserves, we should give her, they can give. This will be a sadaqah, a charitable act, and they will get sawab for it. These are guidelines. Sharia says try and abide by them. But if you want to give more, there is no harm. Giving less is not allowed. If over here you are supposed to give 28, and 14, and you say, no, we're going to take more, we'll only give 5 or 10 to our daughter, that's giving less. That's not allowed. Unless, of course, that is if the daughter agrees. But you can't force her, push her to that. So you have to give the allotted shares to the rightful persons. And another third question sometimes is asked is, why did the wife get only 1/8? According to our law of the land, the wife will get half. Why does Islam give 1/8 only? Okay? Because over here we've calculated this small family. If you go back, they used to have large families, right? Large families. And if you calculate that, this 1/8 becomes more than the equal share of all of them. Right? Let's say in this case scenario, instead of 2 sons and 1 daughter, there were 4 sons and 2 daughters. Right? Then what would happen? This would be reduced. This would become 14, and that would become 7. So you see, she's still getting a lot from the legacy. She's not being made equal to the others. She's being given more in comparison to the daughters, and in some cases more than the sons as well. So the Islamic way of distributing the wealth is perfectly okay, is fair. Is Allah who's giving it. It's not man-made law, it's divine law, it's Allah's law, and Allah's hukm should be abided by. And there is good in there. Based on personal experiences, we should try and distribute estate miras ASAP. When our father died, Alhamdulillah, after things calmed down, within a week or two, we called in Mufti Shabir Sahab, and all my brothers, sisters, all sat down with him. We put everything in front of him, and Mufti Shabir Sahab helped us, and whatever he did, we acted accordingly. At that moment, he said, your mother is alive, leave everything on her name, let her live as long as she stays, and you can't kick your mother out of the house. Where's she going to go? She got no roof on the house. I'm thinking about general scenarios. Some people do say that, put her in a rented property. And nauzubillah, you can't do that. It's your mother. Even if she's your stepmother. In some cases, your real mother died and your father got married again, and the stepmother did his khidmat for 10 years, 15 years. Now, the children say miras is ours, they'll kick our stepmother out. That's not right. You have to let her stay in the house. And then you can distribute later on. So we kept everything as it was during our father's lifetime. Whatever income was coming from, let's say, a rented property, we said it's all mothers. We don't want a penny from there. And whatever was coming, we said it's all mothers. We don't want anything, from the miras at the moment. We all agree. And remember, we are all baligh. There should be no nabaligh in there. If there is nabaligh involved, then you can't agree on something. You have to give that nabaligh minor their share. Ulama were so careful that this alim was sitting with his friend who was on a deathbed, and night fell, and the person died. And there was some candle lighting over there. He extinguished that candle or that lantern. Someone asked him why. He said until he was alive, this candle or the lantern was his milk, his ownership. But now it's become ownership of his heirs. And among his heirs are yatim bacha. And they have a haq in the oil which is in this lantern or in this candle. So if I use it now, it will be like using their property. How careful they were with regards to miras masail. Now today, we don't have that carefulness within us. So if there is minor among the heirs, then we have to keep that minor in mind and give that yatim whatever is his haq. And there are masail of that. You have to distribute it, take his share out, put it on one side, save it until he grows up. When he grows up, you gather two witnesses, and in front of them you say, beta, you've grown up now. You know how to look after your property. Your father died 5 years ago. He left this amount, and this was your share. I looked after it, and this is it. तू जाने तेरा काम जाने, और ये दो विटनेस साइन कर लो यहाँ पर कि मैंने इस यतीम बच्चे का हक उसको दे दिया. This is how you need to behave with a yatim orphan. So if there are no yatims and they all agree on something, they are all grown ups, that is allowed. But then after 5 years later, when our mother died, we called in Sufi Tahir Sahab, and with Sufi Tahir Sahab made mashwara. We all sat down together and we distributed everything accordingly. And now sometimes a problem arises. We have some property here, some which our parents left in India. So we had to do both separate. Whatever is here, we calculated that. We gave every brother and every sister their share. For the house, we said we take 3 valuations and go by the middle. And according to that middle valuation, we let our younger brother stay in the house, and he has to pay off the others whatever he owes them. And it is between him and them as to how much time he will be given to pay it off. So in this way, alhamdulillah, everything was settled down amicably. As for the Indian property, it will be done whatever happens. There's a little bit over there. Allah knows what's going to happen to it. We say whatever income is generated from there, We distribute it at the moment among the relatives, among some charity. Alhamdulillah, we built one masjid for our father. It was my mother who built it in reality. We only helped out a little bit, but main contribution was hers. We built a masjid, and not only that, we kept an imam and muazzin there as well. And that it's in Rajasthan. The imam, the one person is imam, he's muazzin, he's mudarris. He teaches because he's from the same locality. So he gives azan as well, he gives prayer namaz as well, and he teaches the kids as well. And we pay him his salary, something like 5,000 rupees a month. So he's 60,000 rupees a year. So we send that salary to him, and it is given to him by the madrasa from where he studied. He gets 5,000 a month to his salary, and he does the imamat as well. And the masjid and all this thawab is flowing for our father. Make dua, Allah gives us tawfiq to do something similar for our mother as well, so that she can also continue to get thawab. So this is, I'm just mentioning some of our personal experience in our lifestyle of today in United Kingdom. And we have to be very careful about this masail of miras and wasiyat and legacy, because it is connected to huququl ibad, and there will be special questioning about huququl ibad on the day of Qiyamah. If we take someone's land, someone's property, someone's money, and we take it into our ownership, no one's going to say anything to us over here, or we might be a big boss and take it from them. But on the day of Qiyamah, nobody will be big boss. Everybody will be standing on their own and, giving their own accounts. And we have to give account for each and every penny and pound we took. And we took from someone, we have to pay for that. And we have to pay on the day of Qiyamah with our good amal, good deeds, our hasanat. So paying pounds here is easier than paying in hasanat on the day of Qiyamah. So to settle it down over here is easier, better among the warithin and inheritors. You should sit down, work it together, and give everyone their allotted shares. Okay? Maulana Sahab, you want to add anything?
Common question that misconception is that they give wasiyah to their own inheritors. So the parents, my dad said, I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. They haven't given it. So I thought that might be that.
Jazakallah. It's a very nice question. Dr. Ilyas Sahib is saying a common question is sometimes parents make wasiyat for the inheritors. For example, I'm going to die and I make wasiyat for my son Maulana Safwan. And I say that give Maulana Safwan all my money. So all the others will get nothing. Can I do that? No. Hadith says, La wasiyata li warithin. There is no wasiyat for a warith. You can't make wasiyat for a person who's already inheriting from you. He's going to get his share. You can't make extra wasiyat for him. So, even if a father did make wasiyat that this much be given to my son or daughter or someone, it's not binding. It's not binding. So, still we have to calculate miras properly. Unless the other heirs, for some reason, agree and they say we give up our shares, give it to him, that's another thing. But if they are not agreeing, even if they were to upper lip service say, but inside they are naraz. Like sometimes people don't give miras to the girl, to the daughter. Let's say she's married in Leicester or London. So she comes for the funeral, but with regards to miras, they say, you are it with your husband, we're not going to give you anything. And we did all the khidmat. You give me maafi. And bichari, she also says, I don't need maaf kar de. She says maaf. But deep down her heart, she's regretting it. She was owed her bit. She should have got it. Right? That's wrong. Similarly, if one claims that dad made wasiyat for me, that I should be given this house, and the house is mine, he can't do that. That house will have to be put on market value, and he will have to give whatever he owes to the others. He can take a bit of time from them, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, but within that period, he'll have to pay them off. It's not that he can just sit in the house and take it, and because he's living there, that's it means it's. So this needs to be kept in mind. there are two things. One is wasiyat, the other is gift. There's difference between the two. If the father had gifted the house to the son during his lifetime, he said, this is hadiyah for you. That's another mas'ala. That's a gift. But if he said, this house is yours after I die, then that's not a gift. That's a wasiyah. So make sure you differentiate between the two. Right? The gift is if it was already given, signed, put on his name is changed, the son's name is there, that's a gift. But if we say after I die, it's not a gift, it's wasiyat. And wasiyat is not allowed for a waris. So the house can't be his. He will have to put it in the pot, and whatever is calculated and whatever is divided, he will get his equal share from that pot when it's distributed. बराबर बोल साहब ठीक हो गया ना तो ये this should be kept in mind as well about the difference between a gift and a wasiyat. और एक बात और ध्यान में आ रही थी निकल गई सईद भाई बराबर है हाँ मौलाना साहब मुझे समझाओ मेरे जहन में नहीं आ रहा मसला स्टेप चिल्ड्रन ये स्टेप चिल्ड्रन एक तो ये है ना कि क्या शक्ल होती है यू गेट मैरिड अगेन एंड शी कम्स विद हर चिल्ड्रन दे हैव नो ब्लड रिलेशन विद यू दे गेट नथिंग फ्रॉम योर लेगेसी बराबर पर यही है ना स्टेप चिल्ड्रन और कुछ और शक्ल तो नहीं है ना स्टेप चिल्ड्रन की हाँ you can do wasiyat for stepchildren. Jazakallah for that. You can do wasiyat for stepchildren because you brought them up and they stayed with you. So they did your khidmat. So you can say, for after I die, my stepchildren should be given so and so much. And that will be classed as wasiyat and it will be carried out from 1/3. Unless the other heirs agree and they want to give more, that's another masala. I think that will clear it out. Clear हो गया? क्या नाम है मेरा? हाँ.
चिल्ड्रन की बहुत शक्लें हैं ना.
हाँ.
एक तो है वो औरत लेकर आती है.
हाँ.
दूसरा है कि एक आदमी की बीवी फौत हो जाए दूसरी बीवी औरत से शादी करके लेकर आए. हाँ. तो उस सूरत में वो स्टेप ब्रदर सिस्टर जो वो भी कहलाते हैं यहाँ के. हाँ. इसका मसला तो जरा पेचीदा है.
उसको कहेंगे
तो उसको पूरा मिलेगा.
हाँ.
उससे बच्चे को.
हाँ.
मगर माँ का इंतकाल पहले जो बच्चे थे उनको तो नहीं मिले.
अब माँ का इंतकाल हो जाए तो वो जो अपने बच्चे लेकर आई थी वो उसके रियल बच्चे हैं और पहले शौहर के जो बच्चे थे वो उसके स्टेप बच्चे हैं तो उसके रियल बच्चों को मिलेगा उसके इन स्टेप बच्चों को नहीं मिलेगा. तो बाप की तरफ से स्टेप चिल्ड्रन माँ की तरफ से स्टेप चिल्ड्रन दोनों का मसला अलग अलग बिकॉज देयर इज नो ब्लड रिलेशन देयर. सो दिस इज व्हाई the inheritance is where there's blood relation. No blood relation, so there will be no inheritance there. About half brothers and half sisters, उसका मसला होता है थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाएगा है. हाफ ब्रदर्स हो असल में ब्रदर को कब मिलता है जब एक शख्स का इंतकाल हो and he has no children, right? So he's got only his wife who left behind, no children. They were both childless. And they have brothers and sisters left. So the brothers and sisters get inheritance. Where there is sons and daughters, the brothers are mahroom, deprived. Sisters are mahroom, deprived. They get nothing. But where there is no children, the brothers and sisters come into contention. They will get their mirath. And they will become لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. They will the brother will get double and the sister will get single. So it will be distributed among them. And brothers and sisters are of three categories: real brothers, half brothers from father's side, half brothers from mother's side, and their masails are a little bit different. Okay, where real brothers, where mother and father both same of all the children. Half brothers from father's side where the father is same but mothers are different, 2 mothers, 3 mothers, and then all brothers but father is same. And mother half brother from mother's side, akhiyafi, they are when the mother is same, but the fathers are different, she got married again once, twice, 3 times, her children, they are half brothers, so their miras will be distributed. But all 3 types of brothers only get miras in the event of no children. Where there's children, no brother, no sister will get any miras whatsoever. Or the miras will be only given to the deceased partner and the children and the parents if the parents are alive. In this case, if the parents or one of them was alive, they would get 1/6 of it. 1/6 each from there if the parents were alive as well. Any more questions?
What if there's no sons, only daughters?
Good. What if there's no sons, only daughters? The daughters will get, if it's 1, she will get half. If there's 2 daughters, she will get 2/3. And the 1/3 will go to the brothers को मिलेगा ना कि brothers महजूब होंगे भाई बेटी की शक्ल में. Is going to asaba में brothers आ जाएंगे. So that the 2 daughters will get 2/3 and the remaining will go to the asaba, and asaba are the brothers, they will get it from there. Okay, हो गया समझ में? और कुछ मसला बाकी हो तो बता दो. ये ऊपर इंटरनेट पे जा रहा है, कुछ मैंने गड़बड़ सरबड़ की तो मर जाऊंगा मैं, लेकिन मैंने कोशिश तो की है कि गड़बड़ न, मैंने बराबर कहा है ना मसला, क्योंकि मीरास के मसाइल बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. समटाइम यू गेट स्टक. और मेरे पास तो मीरास का मसला आता है ना, मैं मुफ्ती नोमान को भेज देता हूँ, भाई तू सॉल्व करनी इसको, तो वो फिर सॉर्ट आउट करते हैं. उसको असल में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना पड़ता है. ये तो हमने बेसिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया है, लेकिन उसको और तरह से कुछ ज्यादा ये हो, कॉम्प्लिकेशन हो, तो ठीक ठाक करना पड़ता है. तो इसकी एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए. हमारे यहाँ आए थे मौलाना सैयद शब्बीर काका खील साहब दामत बरकात, उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी तरह से इसको समझाया था, कोर्स कराया था. उनकी एक बात मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी. उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे यहाँ पाकिस्तान में तो मैं जहाँ भी जाता हूँ और ऐसा किसी का इंतकाल हो तो मैं उनको तरगीब देता हूँ कि 3 दिन के अंदर अंदर मीरास तकसीम कर दो, सारे झगड़े खत्म हो जाएंगे. तो कोशिश, बहुत से लोगों ने ऐसा किया, बहुत सुकून हो गया. बिकॉज जितना लेट करते हैं उतने प्रॉब्लम खड़े होते हैं, जितना जल्दी कर देते हैं उतना जल्दी टेंशन खत्म हो जाता है. फिर टेंशन खत्म, अल्लाह के यहाँ हमारी जवाबदारी भी नहीं, और मरहूम को भी कब्र में कोई सवाल जवाब नहीं, मरहूम को भी सुकून. हाँ, मौलाना साहब कह रहे हैं कि द हार्ट्स आर सॉफ्ट एज वेल. सो उस वक्त लोग लड़ाई झगड़ा भी कम होता है, तो फौरन जो है वो उसमें कामकाज हो जाता है. बेहतर तो ये है कि अगर हम वसीयतनामा लिख जाएं, उसमें लिख दें कि इस्लाम में जो है उस तरह से मेरी तकसीम कर दे मेरे माल की, और मेरे जिम्मे इतना कर्जा है, वो अगर मैं अभी कर मर गया तो मेरा कर्जे में से इतना अदा कर दिया जाए. और अगर समझिए कि कर्जा वर्जा नहीं है तो ये कि इस हिसाब से कर दिया जाए, मेरे बेटों को डबल, मेरी बेटी को सिंगल, और मेरी वाइफ को इतना दे दिया जाए. और इसी तरह वाइफ ये वसीयत कर दे कि मैं मर गई तो मेरे माल में से मेरे शोहर को इतना और मेरे बच्चों को इतना दे दिया जाए. और अगर उन भाई को देना है, बेटे हैं और आप भाई को कुछ देना चाहें तो भाई के लिए, बहन के लिए वसीयत कर सकते हैं. यू कैन डू वसीयत बिकॉज दे वोंट बी गेटिंग एनीथिंग, दे नॉट वारिस, because you have sons and daughters, so you can make wasiyat for your brother and your sister in the event of children there. If there's no children, then they're already going to get it, so you can't make wasiyat for it. ठीक है? सुभानअल्लाह बिहम्दिही सुभानकल्लाहुम्मा बिहम्दिका नशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता नस्तगफिरुका व नतूबु इलैक. परवरदिगार आलम, आपकी मेहरबानी, आपकी तौफीक, आपका शुक्रिया. मीरास के मसाइल आपने बुलवाए, हमसे कुछ गलती हो गई वो माफ फरमा दीजिए, सही बात कही वो आपकी तरफ से है, कबूल फरमाइए. या अल्लाह मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी को मीरास सही तकसीम करने की तौफीक नसीब फरमाइए, हर हकदार को उसका हक पहुंचाने की फिक्र नसीब फरमाइए, आपस के इख्तिलाफ नाचाकी से, झगड़ों से हिफाजत फरमाइए, और पैसों के खातिर अपनी आखिरत बर्बाद करने से हिफाजत फरमाइए, और अजाब को अपने सर पर मोलने से हिफाजत फरमाइए. जन्नत में जाने का फिक्र नसीब फरमाइए, और अपने हिसाब किताब को, हुकूकुल इबाद को, मुआमलात को बिल्कुल एकदम क्लियर करने की तौफीक नसीब फरमाइए. रब्बना तक़ब्बल मिन्ना इन्नका अंतस समीउल अलीम व तुब अलैना इन्नका अंतत तव्वाबुर रहीम व सल्लल्लाहु व सल्लिम अला सय्यिदिना मुहम्मद व आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन बिरहमतिका या अरहमर राहिमीन. कल जो है हम यहाँ नहीं होंगे, कल से हमारी मटर गश्त शुरू हो जाएगी. कल 3 दिन हम तैयबा मस्जिद जाएंगे, फिर फ्राइडे को अर रहमान मस्जिद में होंगे, सैटरडे को मैं यहाँ होऊंगा, और संडे मंडे ट्यूसडे फिर मुझे प्रेस्टन जाना है जामे मस्जिद, फिर जो एहतिकाफ शुरू हो जाएगा.